Today we will explore, I would say actually maybe a continuation of a conversation that started in 2020 when Josh the first time was on the show. And that was, I was looking at the data and I could see it was something we did as a bonus episode with Vita Mojo where we talked about coming back stronger. We talked about the first lockdown and everybody thought, that's it, now we're going to gun fly open, and we learned a lot. We turned on lots of technology. And that time, Josh was busy rolling up. I think it was a very early day of Wingshack. And a lot have happened since then. But actually, the reason why we're sitting here today is actually Josh and I has this shared passion around understanding AI and how we can use that as good, and also how we can become better business people out of it. And we did this panel last month in London at the Better Hospitality Conference, and the subject was there: will AI kill hospitality? And yeah, it was a very good conversation. There was people who was very nervous about it, and then there was people who was very positive about it. But I think the conclusion came, actually, we need to understand more about AI. And that's like what we're going to try to do today, Josh and I. We try to dive into that. So welcome to the show, Josh. I'm excited that we are able to do this conversation.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Josh, can you just give the listeners, I touched a bit on that, you've been on the show before. You are a business person that runs different ideas. I think actually you had a clothing brand at that time. I don't know if you still have that, but you're an entrepreneur you're on fire. You do a lot of stuff. And, but take people a bit on the journey and maybe just give them an update. If never met you before, what Wingshack is and what you're doing now, just give them a quick intro to you and the businesses you're involved in.
I'm not doing a fashion brand at the moment anymore. So that was like 4 years ago. Now we're really focused. One of the things I've learned in those 4 years is definitely focus, and we focusing now on Wingshack, which is a company that I founded 2018. And we've been on, been in the game now for 6 years. Had some really, really good achievements, some really, really good times, but also some really, really tough times as well. I think since in those 4 years, we went from one site into about 6 to 7 delivery kitchens. And then we closed down those delivery kitchens because we wasn't really sure on the delivery model. And then we thought, no, we wanted to do brick and mortar instead. So we decided to open about 7 to 8 sites in the space of like 9 months, which was a crazy experience, and one definitely wouldn't recommend that. So we've been really that's been my main priority since we've last spoken, and most recently I'd say within the last year or so we've really once we really understood the pain points of that expansion that we took, once we really and over obviously doing hospitality for some time now, really understanding the pain points and really merging those now with AI, technology that we use to really help us during those tough times, and now we've used that throughout our company, and now we've created a new company called Big Appetite, which is we like to call it like an innovation and AI company, which we will be rolling out our systems to help other entrepreneurs and business owners and aspiring entrepreneurs just to really try and guide them and give them proven frameworks that we've been able to use and really show them the power of what AI really can do, and how to build businesses with AI and using tools and technology and automation and also creativity, because these tools are only as good as they can be. It's also who's behind them and who's managing them and who's putting the ideas into these tools. That's where you get the real leverage, the people behind them as well, and the data as well. The data that you're feeding into these models. So that's really what Big Appetite is, and like Wingshack is I'd say is like a use case and a case study for us, which we've been using and testing and learning our models and systems on Wingshack. So yeah, that's what I've been up to in 4 years.
How many sites are you now? What's happened with the group? So because there's lots of movement I can hear.
Yeah. So we had to close down on five locations. We closed down 5 sites. And we really stripped it back and just kept Loughton, which is obviously that was our OG site, which we originally opened in 2018, and then we kept Bromley. We actually part of our testing sort of model is we actually started opening up like virtual kitchens. We closed down a lot of all the locations, and we started through Big Appetite. We tested the virtual kitchen model with like licensing. So we was allowing existing restaurant owners to license Wingshack as a delivery brand in their existing setup. So it's something that kind of helped us when we was having some cash flow problems and stuff. We would just develop like virtual brands and then sell them within our kitchens. And yeah, it was something that we thought that could be a way to really help restaurant owners, during a tough time for restaurant owners. It would be a way for them to earn extra revenue by licensing out Wingshack. And it was a way that we saw like Wingshack would also expand digitally, which is a model that, we were trying to understand because that's the direction that we're going down now. And yeah, so we actually done that. We actually signed about 20 kitchens in the space of like a month. It was crazy in 20 different areas. And then yeah, I think we launched about 8 of those. So we done that, but it was, we didn't really, we gained so much insight from that, actually, to be honest. Speaking to the restaurant owners about how they feel, how they feel about the industry, what their pain points are, how they feel about third-party platforms, what would they like to see. So we learned so much from that, but the model just didn't really work for us in terms of we didn't see the opportunity in that model. We thought it was a bit of a broken model. So we opened those, we closed those, and now we have the two sites, and we have a digital franchise in Maidstone, which we opened. So everything that we're trying to do at the moment is really digitizing traditional models and traditional methods. So instead of doing traditional franchising, we want to do digitized franchising. So we're rolling out a concept now with a kitchen in Maidstone. So we have that open as well. And so yeah, and that's where we are. Oh, and we're in the Emirates Stadium. So we're in the Emirates Stadium.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have some kiosks in the Emirates Stadium as well, which is obviously really cool. Being an Arsenal fan. So yeah.
Well, and so lots of change, a lot of adaptation, like lots of operators and business owners would think about that. That's quite normal there. But what do you believe now? What is the big problem you're solving? Because it seems like you're not building a restaurant chain. That's not the primary focus. But what is it that you are trying to solve for problems now as an entrepreneur through food?
Yeah, so as an entrepreneur, I say overall it's to, and it translates into food because it's all the same. It's just to really to be able to sort of like innovate and create in peace, really. So to be able to create with, just without the stresses and the pain points and, I feel like understanding pain points is obviously important because how else are you going to solve problems? But I mean, like just the pain points of, just the operations and stuff like that. Just to be able to create in with good systems in place from the start. You don't have to like suffer as soon as you start a business because you have to learn it. Like why can't you just start on a good foot from the very start? So and I say through food, it's the same. It's as I say, being an operator myself, and experiencing a lot of pain points in the industry. Not coming from a hospitality background, I just dived straight into it. And then obviously, and then once I then started reconnecting with restaurant owners, small restaurant owners, through doing this virtual brand concept and understanding their pain points and realizing that like this is a widespread problem, the problems that in this industry. So for me, once I understood those, it's like I just thought, wow, I started connecting the dots, and now it's just we just want to create systems, and where small restaurant owners can literally just integrate these into their setup, and it just brings so much more efficiency to their operations, to their inventory, to their rota management, but not only to their operations, but then knowing how to then understand their audience, understand their customers, and then once they've understood their customers, what content should they be able to push out to this customer to resonate with this audience. And then once that happens, it's like a whole framework of knowing how to really elevate and build a brand, because and then through that, being able for restaurant owners to build their own direct to consumer channels, so not having to rely on the likes of Deliveroo and Uber and Just Eat. Why should restaurant owners lose out on 30-35% of their commission of their profit margins just to be on someone else's platform? Doesn't make no sense. Restaurant owners should be able to have that power. They're the ones that are there putting the work in, stressing, dealing with rents, in higher costs and all these things, staff and everything. They're the ones that are sweating, doing the work. And then these platforms are just coming and taking 30-35%. It doesn't make no sense. So we want to solve that problem where we can give that power back to restaurant owners, make them feel efficient, make them understand their audience and learn how to engage with their customers, because that's what matters. So this is the problem that now we're trying to solve, and we feel now that the technology is out there with tools like AI and stuff. We believe that we can do this.
So what is like the, you call it the vision, the mission? How is your business looking in, let's say, 3 to 5 years from now? What is it that you're doing? Are you running more restaurants? Are you running less? What is the idea? Where do you see this go? Because you're experimenting a bit, I can hear as well, as you talk, but actually you're getting some quite good results from it.
No, definitely. So we, as I say, we've been developing a system now, and we started implementing that into Wingshack, so the 2 locations that we got, Loughton and Bromley. And since then, in the last 7 months, we've seen, like literally revolutionary changes in our numbers. Revenues increased. We focus on the metric called lifetime value of a customer. That's gone up. Our labor costs have dramatically dropped. Food costs have dramatically dropped, and all this comes from implementing AI and systems and frameworks into our business. So now we use AI to, it predicts our inventory for us. It predicts our rota for us. We use it to understand data of our audience, of our customers, to understand their pain points, their needs, their preferences. We use it for everything. And since using it, the productivity of what we can do, we can just do so much more. And it's scary, I'll be honest, the way that we can now sort of move forward and progress into bettering the business and understanding our audience. It's literally like life-changing sort of effects, basically. Yeah.
So do you think you're going to be selling education or a technology platform when you go into the future to other restaurant owners based on your own learnings?
We see it as it will be like a suite of tools um, to really to design your business. So for us, we that's the way that we see it. It's like a brand sort of factory, and there'll be different tools. Some of them might be our own tools. Some of them might be partners that we already work with. You know, so there's tools that we use now. They're third party tools, and you know they're powered by AI. So we use those. So we'll still use those because we think they're good and they work well. We've used them. They're proven. And we'll have our own tools, and we'll, depending on what the industry is or the business is, we will design someone's company using the different tools, integrating them. But again, it's not only AI is a tool, so it's not just about the tools, it's also about who is working on those tools. So it's also about, giving guidance about, the team, choosing the right team members, because, without the team to drive this system, it means nothing. So it's about guiding people on the right team, understanding data, which data sets to use, so the AI can be trained on the data. So there's so much. That's the sort of way that we see it. So it will be kind of like a suite of tools, but also with like guidance in terms of like how to really design and then manage your company in using certain models and frameworks. And then as for Wingshack, we see it in terms of, we believe in so now we're really pushing on online delivery. So because 80. So since implementing the Big Appetite in September, our sales have actually changed. So now we're actually 80% online delivery compared to 20% in. So it kind of aligns with our vision in terms of digital and online. So now our focus is to expand a network of delivery click and collect units across the UK, and having our own direct to consumer e-com platform, and driving people to order through us rather than third party platforms, and creating a sort of centralized system, decentralized hub for our audience, for our customers, where we focus on customer lifetime value and customer engagement and loyalty, and really cultivate our brand and build a brand rather than having to rely on middlemen or third party platforms. This is our brand. This is us. We know how to connect with our customers. We know because we understand the data. We can see what their pain points are, what their psychographics are. So this is the direction for Wingshack as well. So we want to expand digitally, and focus on delivery and click and collect. But also, we still believe there's a future for eat-in as well. It's not that we don't think that the eat-in experience won't be. To be honest, I think it will be even more appreciated in years to come. The eat-in experience. It's just that the concept for Wingshack, we see it as being a more online and delivery concept.
It's very interesting because you talked about that you've gone through some. I guess you come to this place and had these thoughts and these reflections because you went through that, journey of pain with your business as you were growing it very fast, lots of units coming on, lots of people, lots of moving parts, I guess. And then you could just see that, what often happens when you scale your business, my systems are way behind compared to what they need to be able to deliver a profitable business. Can you talk a bit about what went wrong there? Because it's a typical entrepreneurial journey, actually often that, lots of entrepreneurs talks about systems, but they don't have them in place when they start scaling, or they haven't tested them, or they use the same system that's worked in one unit on 7 units, but the business is different when you run 7 units.
Yeah, I think you literally summed it up. I think that was literally what happened. I think when you're I feel for myself, it was more something, if you're more of a visionary and more of more on the creative side than maybe the operating side, you'll make bad business decisions to sort of play out your vision. And I think that was definitely something that happened to me, because people used to say that when we went from one site, when we had one site, it was obviously much easier to, you're not relying on, you can rely on, like what we spoke about before the chat, you can rely on your gut more. If you only have one site, one operation, you can rely on your gut. So you can take little chances here and there, and you can, it's different. Like, you can learn, it's different. Once you go to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, and you've got more team members, more customers, more of everything. Like, you can't then rely on those guts like that. You can't then rely on just the human eye, the human opinion. You can't, it's a different ball game. And people always say to me, Josh, people, process, product. And I never used to understand it when they used to say it to me. Like, I wasn't really understanding what they were saying, because I just used to think, yeah, product, yeah, I know my product is good. People love it. They travel to come and have it. It's processes. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm thinking processes of one shop, like the process that happens there, and people. I'm thinking, yeah, the same. We have a good team here. I'm just going to find maybe this same team in another area as well. It's that easy. It's going to happen like that. It does not happen like that once you expand. And that's it's and I really learned that. And it was even different, even when we opened the 7 delivery kitchens, like that it wasn't like, it was a challenge, but it was nothing like opening 7 restaurants and shops. It was like it's a whole different ball game. Like, you have to, if you haven't got those systems in place, if you don't have the right frameworks in place, if you don't have technology in place, if you don't have these, if you don't have that, then you need to have big, unlimited amounts of money to waste. Put it that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I had a boss once that said you don't know what you scale if you don't know your system works on.
Exactly.
He said build system that works on 100 even though you only have 8 in the pipeline. That's what you need to think. You need to think about this needs to reach on that. Then you probably get closer to a system that works at number 8 than if you just took the systems and process that worked in number 1. I think lots of people out there will be nodding they've done this. It's not only in restaurants, it's any kind of business you scale.
Yeah.
You go through the phases of, where the one-man band to the little group of people, to the family size, to the boutique, to the performance business. And then it becomes a performance business as soon as you can be available for all people in one day as a leader.
Yeah. Exactly.
Then that's where system kicks in. You can't show up. You can't read things with your gut, as you said really well, because it's out of your gut can't reach through the sky and drop in from one part of London to the other.
Yeah. The thing is, because I've obviously realized it, because I look back at sometimes the way that maybe I was thinking, or my process of thought, and when I used to think of systems, as I say, being more on like the creative side and stuff like that, and someone who like, I used to think, like systems, it's gonna make me too rigid. I'm not gonna be able to be creative and think this and I won't be able to just like. But that's it. That's the completely opposite. That's even worse, because what systems do, and this is why I fell in love with AI. What systems do, it makes you be more creative. It gives you more room to go with your guts. Because you're going on your guts of based on solid foundations and solid systems and solid information, solid data, solid truth. So you can go with your guts on the creative side, because the system, the foundation is rock solid. So you can take chances on that, and it's like football. on the football pitch. You don't want your defense to be taking chances in the defense because it's too close to the goal. You want your team to be taking chances on the other end of the pitch, because if you lose the ball, it doesn't matter. You can still recover it. Do you know what I mean? But when you're taking chances and going with your guts and you don't have the systems in place, you know, and that's what happened to us. We're taking guts, you know, opening sights left, right, and center. Guts, thinking, but based on what systems, based on what information, what data am I using to decide to open in an area? Do you know what I mean? Or what? And these are things that, you know, some people know these things, but they still don't even do them, because to do these things, you need to, one, you need to know them. Two, you need to know how to do them. Three, you might need to have the finances to do them. Four, you need to have the team to do them. Five, so you can't do all these things to make you into a solid company if you have the investment, if you have like, but do you know what I mean? So it's like, and that's what AI can do. It can bring that into your company. But when you don't have them systems in place, and it's just like, you know, systems actually make you be more creative, and that's something that I definitely I've learned, you know, in the last year, 18 months.
Yeah, that's right. Very interesting. You talk about the creative, the visionary, and the role of systems, because actually, if you don't have that in place, you have no chance to live your dreams and think dreams. It was quite interesting. I was you know, sometimes I go back, I was very fascinated about this Netflix documentary with the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan, The Last Dance. And it's a fascinating story. And, you know, and the second time you watch it, you think something different. And what you just said, it made me think about something when Phil Jackson becomes the head coach. What they didn't have before he became a coach was a system to play for. They actually played by Michael Jordan Scott. Is he in a good place or bad place, Michael Jordan, today? Are we going to win or not win? And he built the system not around that, you know, it was about Michael Jordan, but actually that the team could win. And then he utilized Michael Jordan, who is in that situation the creative in a way. He is extremely strong player. There's no doubt about that. So he built that system, and then Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant and Steve Kerr and all these other marginal players, they fit in and they play a very big role. But they played this zone system that nobody else did. And then, as you said, they didn't take risk in defense. It was a very strong defense, and that was why Dennis Rodman came on board at some point. It was about that. Don't take chances there. We take them up in the attack. And that was why they were so successful. And he had data on that, of course. He had video. He was sitting and watching video. And that was where he came up with the system, you know, which is very interesting again. Yeah.
And that same layout sort of thing is the same how it would work on a successful company. You know, the founders, the entrepreneur will be the ones that, you know, will be focusing on the creative stuff, moving the bigger needle stuff, driving the company forward, you know, when they don't really have to deal with much, you know, they just get to see certain metrics and that's it. And based off those metrics, they then use their creativity to then go and solve problems, and they'll have their team of team members, you know, operating the business, making it work. You know, and driving that vision that comes from the top. And the same it happened. Like you said, it's the exact same thing that happened to them. They had Michael Jordan driving that vision, and he had the others there working with him to make that happen. It's the same thing, same fundamentals.
Yeah, and I just love that. It just made me think about that. And such an, what do you call it? I would call almost like it's such an easy way. It's such a, what do you call it? It's a tangible way to understand the power of systems. And that actually leads us very nicely, because we need to talk about this, and actually why we actually set up this conversation. It really comes down to the AI part, you know, and and you mentioned it a couple of times already. But how is AI in this context of hospitality? How do you see it in a way? Because there's no doubt about you talking about AI as a helper, a supporter, somebody that gives you the clarity. And you talked about helping you getting data faster and making better decisions so you can optimize your operation so it becomes much more effective. But then you also talk about this innovation track as I can hear, where you say this also gives us room to think bigger and do the right things.
No, it definitely does. As I say, I mean, if you some of the tools that we use, for inventory and stock management, rota management, performance, once you sort of have that sort of solid, the whole point of having that solid is so then you can then focus on the most important thing, which is the customer, because the way that I see it, with or without the operations, if you don't have the customers, you can have the best operations in the world. If you don't have the customer, it doesn't matter because the shop or whatever will be empty. Obviously, having the best operations will what it should do, but this is what you should then be using that time to then connect with your customers. But that still doesn't happen a lot. But with AI, it's the way that you can process data so quickly on your customers, to really understand what their pain points are, to really understand, what they want, so you can personalize their experience. It can change. It will change the industry because, in terms of things like loyalty and customer lifetime value, like these are the things that really matter. And, building brand is what matters. And, it's true what they say, when you have a brand, you don't need to sell. Don't need to sell to anyone because you always have people coming to you. And I feel, and I'm talking from experience because, even though I'm so passionate about marketing and branding, and even myself, when I was scaling and I forgot about our customers. There was no time to think about our customers because I was stuck in operations. I was too worried about how we're going to make payroll, how we're going to make the rent. This fridge is broken, this is done, how I'm not even thinking about the customer. And if I am, I'm not even thinking about it in the right way. It's the wrong things. It's not the things that. It really takes you. The operation takes you away from and I see that. I see it so much in the industry. I feel like there's so many. I don't think we really know how to really understand and connect with our customers. And I feel using AI is something that, since using it, it's something that is really giving us that time to really go into and really start developing. And again, these are the sort of things that, these are the sort of frameworks and systems and methods that, big brands, big companies use. And the thing with AI, it's these systems, these tools and stuff, they're all accessible now through AI, through the tools that are out there on that people can use, so to put you on that same level playing field and even above, even ahead now of these big corporate companies, because so this is why, and this is what we've been doing. This is literally what we've been doing at Wingshack. This is what we intend to do. And, we believe this is where obviously the future is heading anyway. And again, once that does happen, once everyone is sort of, using AI and everyone is efficient and everyone is using Agile and whatever else, for us, we believe that the thing that will matter the most is brand, is that customer engagement, is the values, is the missions, is that experience, so, it's probably something that we'll speak about, but people will say, but will AI remove the human touch? And like, no, how it's not, how's AI by itself going to remove the human touch? It's only going to improve it. It's a tool to give people time to improve the human touch, if anything, to improve the experience, because it's going to take people away from doing the repeated tasks that AI can easily solve by itself and give people more time. So what the problem is the problem isn't AI. The problem is what people choose to do with their time. So it's down to the human being. It's down to the people behind the tools, the people leading the businesses, the people. This is what it's down to. What do you do with that time? you might, but as a business, but then it's also educating people what they can do at that time, how then they can, now they've got time, say, off their operations. How do I look at this? How do I even use all of this data that we're collecting into our CRM? But we don't even know how to use our CRM, or we don't even know how to understand the sales data properly, and this and that. So, this is
It's very interesting when you say that. It actually took me a bit of a journey up, because many people go into hospitality because of the human touch.
Yeah.
But they have all the right ambition. They may even write the right mission statement, the culture. They're actually building elements of this employee experience. And I've been pulled in many times to say there's something not working in our employee experience. But actually, it's actually other parts of the business that's disrupting that employee experience. It's actually just difficult to work here. So actually, you have started to scale a business that's not leveraging, that's not working for you or your employees. So actually coming back to that whole automation talk you talked about, how can you actually automate as much as possible? How can that then make sure the right delegation of tasks and infrastructure is happening? And then, make systemization from day one a priority, so you actually have time to build that human touch, if that's for your people or for the customers. But actually, how do you actually start with thinking about how can this actually help me deliver that business that works for me as the founder or CEO or whoever you are in that business, or team leader, and actually give me that time? Because the thing I really want to do is actually develop people and make happy customers.
Yeah, exactly. That's spot on. It's like, it's not only just for the customers that, it's a good point. It's also for your own people, for your own team.
Yeah.
It's for everyone. It's the output it can give, the productivity it can give, the experience that it can give. It can change. It's going to change so many things. It's going to just for across, especially in business, like throughout business, it's just gonna. I just see it solving so many problems that every business owner is crying out for. It's just that they've just not understood the use cases yet, or how it can solve their use case, because they're a bit skeptical about it, and they're thinking, I don't even want to get into some of the stories that are hearing people having their opinions on something like this, but yeah, like it's just such an eye-opening technology, because even that, it's like people don't understand. It's like the way that you can research things, just that alone is enough to make a difference in your personal life and in your professional life, and your if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, whatever. Just some research alone. So I mean, the way that you can just research things, because so quick. If you want to read, like what we said, you can read a book. You can just, even if you don't want to read that whole book, you can just quickly just get a summary of what that book is saying, or what message is it trying to give you, and once you've got that message, how then can I adapt that into my own life? And like these little, like the things that, the way that you can innovate with this sort of tool, you've never been able to have done that previously. You would never have been able to. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Unless everything was going right for you, and you have the luck of everything, and you're able to do this. And that's what's happened. That's why there's so many people far further ahead in power and in power and money and wealth than there is other people, because they've had certain resources and tools that other people haven't had. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So, but AI, that AI absolutely obliterates that. If you choose to want to use it, and use it for the right things as well, to get you, to one. I was gonna say to get you ahead in life, not to get you ahead in life, but to want to live a better quality way of life, to want to live in peace, to want to live in truth. If you want to live like this, AI will guide you there, and that's a fact. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what technology does. Before AI, it's technology. It's not like AI is this big thing, this big giant robot that's going to come and lift you into the next world. It's a tool. AI will give you the tools, will provide you the tools to do you know what I mean, to live a quality way of life. So having everything working, optimized, your business, your everything. Do you know what I mean? This is what we're.
It's very interesting because I was also part of, I was sitting in a group where we met, was the last week or was the week before, I can't remember. And the topic was AI and what it can do for business. And then there is somebody from IBM there. They're quite senior person. And how they look at it is actually, this is just advanced optimization right now. There's other technologies coming where if you haven't been part of the advanced automation journey, you will really lose out, because then become quantum AI, and then you are lost because you're. And then there was lots of concern. I think also there was on the panel about that. Don't you lose the mastery, for example, if you don't write anymore? Of course, but you still have to do the input. You still have to do the quality questioning, the quality instruction, and the quality delegation. Because if you give a bad prompt to the AI, you're gonna get a bad outcome. Bad data in, bad data out.
Michael, no jokes. I use AI every minute. That's why I use ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT as if it's like I'm talking to myself or my. I don't. So, but for the first time in my whole business, in my whole lifetime of being an entrepreneur or whatever, the first time I've started writing in the notepad. Do you get what I'm saying? So it because you still need physical touch. You still need to do physical things. Me now, I love writing in the notepad because it feels like when I'm writing in it, it's in my mind. I'm writing it. It's a promise. It gives me it gives me even a more enhanced experience now when I use a notepad than what it ever would, because before I was taking it for granted because I wasn't. But now, because I'm always on digital and I'm always doing everything on using AI and typing, my experience of a physical, just writing in the book, something very simple, I love that. I love that now, taking that, writing on a notepad.
And so it's quite interesting what you're saying there, because also that conversation led to a dialogue between many people. It's not one person, but the conclusion of that these was leaders of different industries. Here we're not just talking hospitalities. You have consultancy, you have banks. Was that actually what AI could be a very help is actually simplifying stuff you communicate, so you actually can get more done. So you don't come out with very heavy insights. You actually come with the clear mind, because you don't spend all your energy on creating the insight, but actually you are focusing on the insight that needs to be shared to take action. Exactly.
Actionable insight.
And I think we struggle sometimes, especially in hospitality, where we have all this data coming at us, but what is it actually we need to take action on? What is the 20% that gives 80%?
Exactly. And I think hospitality is so many. It's such a, because there's so many, again, just talking from experience, being in the industry, it's so many emotions as well, so much data, so many emotions, so many opinions, so many people, so many this, so many that, so many swings and roundabouts, roller coasters. You got one bad review here that says this, then one says they like it, then one did, then it's too much. There's so much going on. It's chaos. It's so much. There's so many moving parts. You got to, especially if you're a small restaurant owner, and you have a small team, you're independent, you don't have, it's a lot. It's a lot to for, and the margins aren't even great like that. It's a lot. Do you get what I mean? To do, you have to be really passionate to do hospitality, because it's not a business, I'd say, to come in and try and, make some quick money. Like it's not an online business, like drop shipping or something like this. You have to really put their time in to hospitality, because there's a lot going on. But it shouldn't be like that. It should be or not that there has to be a way where it can be easier, more like an online business, because the thing with hospitality is it is such a beautiful thing. It's food. People have so many good experiences because of food. You always think of a time in your life and you can connect it back to a certain food or some. It brings so much happiness and so much, so many things that people should have time to put time and effort and quality out, because it's an important thing, especially now with the way the work, what we even put into our bodies. This is something that we eat, we put it into our own bodies. So it's like how can the thing that the industry that we put that product into our bodies, all this other stuff, we wear it, we buy it, it's cars, clothes, trainers, watches, this and that, things that materialistic things, we can throw it away any day and get a new one. It's not going to hurt us, it's not going to affect us. But our body, the things that we put into our body, that industry, doesn't necessarily put out the best output. And that's because the struggle is too much in that industry. Do you know what I mean? We can't
too many moving parts that's not in control.
Yeah, so you're not in control. That's that. So there's all these obesity problems and this and that. But that's because restaurant owners and people, it's out of control. Do you know what I mean? So there needs to be control, because it's important, because this is the stuff that we put into our bodies as well. So this is like this is why I think AI is.
AI is a very interesting solution on, you can talk about climate change, obesity challenges, cost challenge. And I think really something that's come up in my brain has been running, because what I said to you before we started this interview, this is going to totally derail, and it has, in a good way, because actually what we come back to again, the systemic issues that is around hospitality and food, is that we're so driven on, we want to make a profit, but we don't put in the right system because we don't have the time, the resources, the right people, because we're already running behind. But now, as we're talking about, we have this, opportunity. Maybe the train has just arrived, and actually we jump on this train. And of course, we should be aware, and we should also be, as anything, you should ask questions. You shouldn't just blindly trust everything, but actually use AI as that facilitator to actually create a profitable business. Because when it becomes profitable, we can make better choices for people, community, and the planet, and we can make a profit, which is about. If we don't make profit, we're not around. That's actually the energy we all need.
It's the two. For me personally, the most important thing is time, and then it's either money, isn't it? It's either that's what the two main things really people want: time and money, and AI can bring both of those. So why would you not use it? It doesn't make no sense. It's it definitely can enhance your possibility that as you say, you can use that money to have such a better impact on so many different things. Don't need to be working for nothing, just to, and that's what working for less. So many people have put business in hospitality that I'm literally when we're doing a raise now, I'm in the middle of them writing my pitch deck, and one of the metrics that we have in there is 5 restaurants on average close a day in the UK. So it's like that's mad. You know what I'm saying? It's the title of that slide of that deck is, I think it's the food industry is on life support in the UK. Do you know what I mean? I got that from an article that I read when I was researching, and that's what the person said, and it's true. You know what I mean? So it's like there's now a chance and a technology out there that can really, really change that, and the tools are out there to use. You haven't got to be a coder. You haven't got to be like Elon Musk to understand. It's if anything, AI is, the funny thing is, technology. Like there's certain technology tools out there that we've used. They're harder to use than the AI ones. AI makes it even easier to use technology. You know what I mean? So even if you're not technically if you're not technically good, don't even let that put a barrier up from using AI, because AI is even easier to use than these other technology tools that you've probably seen out there and what other people use. They're very outdated now. It's like it's like having an iPhone, the latest iPhone, and then seeing the last year's 2, 3 years, 4 years ago's iPhone. You'll see the difference. You'd be like, it's crazy. Or do you know what I mean? So these AI tools are out there, even easier to use. Do you know what I mean? They're out there. It's so, I find it crazy that it's such a big discussion and debate about something that is going to improve everything.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting to say, as investors, just think about raising money into your business. Why should you have to be either very fascinated or passionate about food and hospitality almost to invest in it if you couldn't see there was what in principle what we are circling around is a solid operating system. And actually what AI can do is actually help you develop that operating system for your business. Because I also often say to people, it's like culture, your culture and the operating system you need to build yourself or design, or I would call it more design in the beginning, and then you build it afterwards when you know what you want to do with it and what the values, beliefs, and then then I need this certain operating system, I need this kind of scheduling system to do that. This is the kind of experience I want to create to be. But actually, that's actually where you don't have to sit and wait. You can actually go and create many of these things with AI, and even if you want to write. I talked with somebody the other day. I don't know how I should come up with my values. And I said, put some ideas into ChatGPT and see what it comes out with. And then suddenly the leadership team, and then take it to the leadership team and then brainstorm on that. And actually they have a starting point, and then they can start creating a book of culture, and then they have a culture, and then they can start building the operating systems. But I actually think often the work that needs to be put into this is hard work. But if you spend all your energy thinking about how it should look and researching, but actually if that tool can do that, lots of that heavy lifting for you, you can then focusing on implementing and take action, as you said, for. And I think that's really what we come back to in this conversation, is that's really the role AI plays. How do you see this in 5 years from now? In hospitality, what have AI done to the industry, in your view, in 5 years' time? Or food, for that sake. We can just take it bigger.
It's a good question. I think for where we see, I think speaking from what we're doing, we think we obviously think that online delivery will just keep growing. We think that convenience. We just think that things are just going to become more and more digital. The world is going to get more and more quicker. People are just going to want convenience more. Like that's just what we really, really believe. But then at the same time, we also feel, and me even speaking for myself, that experiences are going to be very big. And whether that's, and we think that would be online, we're looking at so many different ways now and testing ways, and ways that we can obviously give, because we're going more digital, how we can, really enhance that online experience, but it's not even been sort of done before, especially, sort of just different ways that we can really enhance that. But then we also think that offline is also going to be just as important. I think people are still going to want to go to restaurants. I think they'll be busier. But I think certain cuisines and styles, I don't think, I still think the small Italian restaurants and stuff like this are still going to be busy. Because people are going to want that experience, that personalized experience. And you can get that. We want to obviously provide that online, but you still need that physical personal experience as well. And even for us, we're not saying we want to do things offline, things more like immersive experiences, offline ones, or things like cooking experiences and stuff. We don't necessarily feel that our food experiences have to be through a restaurant or where you can come and eat our food. Why can't our experiences be in other forms of physical experiences and stuff like that? So I think I think that's the way that we're sort of heading. I think I think it just depends how quick people really adopt it. I think, to be honest with you, and how they take to it. Because, like, as I say, the tools are there ready to be used, and very, very good ones as well. And if that does happen, then we'd like to think that 5 years time, it will be an industry where everyone's just sort of just got more time to create better experiences. There'll be less closures. People will be in control of their finances, their cash flow. They'll be able to breathe. They'll be able to innovate and create without the stress of cash flow and payroll and rents, and just have more control. That's what AI should be able to do for a business owner. Give them more control over their business. And if you get more control, then the world it's gonna create so much abundance, because everyone's gonna be moving for abundance. Everyone will understand, and this is all our overall outlooks, I say, in life. But if this can happen in hospitality, like it will be crazy, because, as I say, it's such an important industry. Like, it's so important. Like, hospitality is such an important thing. So I just think it's just gonna just hopefully create better experiences overall, whether that's online, offline. But I don't think it should be one of them things that I just think it's gonna improve everything, and I feel like there's gonna be a market for everyone. Like, it's gonna be like an abundance of everything. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like, I don't believe in online delivery, I just do eating, and not vice versa. Like, no, eating doesn't work, I just do online delivery. Like, I feel like if everyone starts using AI and everyone, starts optimizing their business, it will move in a way that there's enough for everyone.
Yeah. But also, I guess that's also any strategy, in my learning in business, any strategy works if you put the right approach and attention and energy into it. Because often it's because, if you're trying to do something you don't believe in, it's never going to work.
Exactly.
If you say it's not going to work, it's not going to work. That's 100%. What is your top advice to leaders out there? They all want to get in that abundant situation. What should they do right now? Let's just take the AI lens. What is the one thing they should do right now? Because lots of people think, that bus is gone. The train has left the station. I'm never going to get on that. I also hear that. And I said, well, it was November 2023. I said, it really became a thing. I think it's maybe too many years to build to that. But that was just the first step, I said. So there's lots of time to get on this bus, I said.
So this bus is going to outlive all of us. So it's like, this is something, we're at the very, 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 very beginning of this advancement. Like, this is going to outlive us and generations beyond us. Like, so this is the very beginning of it. And I think it's something that you said, if you're not educating yourself on this now, because it is moving very quick. It's moving very, very quick. There will be things after this that are coming much quicker. And if you don't actually if you're not educating yourself on this now, how then are you going to use the other advancements that come, and then the other ones that come? You're going to be so far behind. Like, you're going to blink and literally you're just going to be left behind. It's just moving that quick. So it's like, but it's not a fact of like it's moving that quick that you're left behind now. You just need to just start. Like, forget to stop overthinking everything. Just start, because it's really important. I don't even know how else to even to really drop it and explain it. Like, it's I always say to people, like, trust me, it's bigger than that. Like, it's bigger than, it's like a way of, we see it as like a way of life for us. Like, it's really, really put us on a level playing field to corporates and to certain institutions and like, you know what I mean? If we could go, it can go deep, but this is what I believe this sort of technology can do. Do you know what I mean? It can really put you ahead and really put you on the same level playing field to what certain people have been living in for however hundreds and hundreds of years, and everyone else has been forgotten about, sort of thing. So it's like, it's really, really powerful. It can really third world countries and stuff like that. It's going to really, enhance their countries and really give people opportunity there. It's a big thing. It's a technology that can really change the world. So,
is there like a practical thing, Joss, a leader should go and do today when you listen to this and say, go and do this one thing, and you have started the journey of AI, on understanding AI. If you, let's say you haven't touched it at all, most people have maybe thrown something in ChatGPT and done a little bit of that and using that a little bit, but where's the starting point to get on the journey and then just slowly evolve?
Yeah, I'd say again, just I can only speak from experiences and kind of truth. We started just by using ChatGPT, and it's funny because this was like a couple of months ago. I scrolled all the way down to some of to the first time I used it, and honestly, I started laughing. I couldn't believe it. It was a crazy moment because it was almost as if the way I can explain it is when the internet came, sitting there on dial-up, waiting for the internet to connect and going on AOL, and just it's like a whole different experience. It's oh, what do I type? How do I use it? And the things that I was typing was so basic and so it was just jokes compared to how we use it now, how we write, how we talk to it, the things we ask it, the engineering, it's just the
prompts.
The prompts. Yeah. So I'd say literally just use ChatGPT, because once you start, and not only it's a mindset as well. Don't use it and be have this blocker in your mind. Use it and be open-minded. Trust it. Put your trust. If you're going to trust something, put your trust into this and start trusting it, because I promise you, it will surprise you. You will. You'll literally. I don't think people will believe it. Do you know what I mean? Once they start realizing what it can do for their personal use case, that's when the penny will drop, and they'll be like, "Wow." So I say definitely just be using ChatGPT. Look, the YouTube. There's some good. This is where another thing, or a beautiful thing about technology and the internet is something like YouTube. For the last year, because we had more time, I've been able to really upskill myself on so many different areas of running a business and growing a business and building a brand and understanding certain things about life and outlooks and this and that. But how did I do that? YouTube. I didn't go to uni and didn't go to school and listen to memorize geography and whatnot. No, I listened to leaders, to people who have been there and done that, who have read thousands and thousands of books and are more smarter than what I am. And I learned of these people through YouTube. This is a tool that is free, that is out there for everyone to use. But something like what you say, you have to be on that. You have to be willing to do it. You have to, and this is the thing, people don't do it because they don't have the time, because they're too worried about their stock count, this staff said this, their reviews, their rotas, cash flow, rents, and that. They don't have the time to educate themselves, to upskill themselves, and to breathe. They don't have it. With AI and systems, you can have them tools to go on YouTube to learn more about what's going to actually move the needle for you in your life and your business and your relationships and your whatever it is. This is what life is about. You have to learn. You have to educate yourself. Do you know what I mean? But I also get it. People have priorities. People are stressed. But this is what you need to break. Do you know what I mean? And AI breaks this. So it gives people resources. It gives people, and then once you start, learning on YouTube and stuff like that, you can work. It's live. You can watch. You can practice. You can watch. You can learn. You can watch on YouTube action on ChatGPT. You can. Do you know what I mean? It's just about it's simple. It's simple things. This stuff. And that's the sad thing about it. And this is our outlook. We're actually starting a company called Simple Things because we want to create products and ways of life life simplified, simple things, for people to see how to live very simple but effective and focused. Because life doesn't have to be chaotic. Life doesn't have to be this way. Life doesn't have to be that way. It can be this simple. Life is simple. Life is here. We're here once. We need to enjoy it. We need to embrace it. We need to travel. We need to see the world. We need to get new experiences. We need to get inspired. Do you know what I mean? We're not going to do that being stuck in the operations or wondering why our customers aren't thinking this and trying to chase this why? The tools and the data is out there. Use it. Do you know what I mean? It's important. This is why I can't comprehend. I can't even engage in conversations with people when they have a different view on AI. Because for me, if someone thinks like that, I see it as don't really understand life.
I think that's an absolutely beautiful place to wrap up this conversation, Josh, because it's actually about how do you actually live a better life? How do you find the way, the art of living, as I call it, and get the most out of it? Where can people, because I'm sure there's some people that's become fascinated and think, I want to talk with Josh. He's onto something. How do they get in touch with you? What's the best way?
So on Twitter is something that I'm going to start using more to do more writing, and I want to get more into writing now actually as well. So Twitter is you can get me on Joshua Jarvis _08, and LinkedIn. My profile is Joshua Jarvis, and they're probably the most of the they're the best two things to get me on.
Great, Josh. Thank you so much for coming on the show, sending you power and energy on the journey to you and your team. And I'm sure we will have another touch point not too long from now, not 4 years, where we're going to continue talking with it because it's evolving fast. And we will try to connect again and make sure that the audience are on the journey. Yeah, Josh? One last thing.
So I also forgot to mention as well that we've just started a newsletter actually at BigAppetiteCo.ai. So if you head over to there, we're going to be starting our newsletter. It should provide like loads of actionable tips and insights and updates about AI and certain frameworks and all like loads of actionable tips for business owners and entrepreneurs.
We'll put that in the show notes as well, and any articles you think that the audience need to read, and then throw them over to me, and I'll make sure that the audience get that. Thank you so much.
Cool.
Power and energy, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you.